Sensitivity is intelligence. With grace and skill, you have abundance. Welcome to the Psychic Hour. Host Kelly Brickle is a psychic medium healer, numerologist, and teacher. Her passions are learning about the soul and energy. Whether it's through spirit, emotion, or vibrational numbers, there's always a pathway of information waiting to help. Now, here is your host of the Psychic Hour, Kelly Brickle.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to WLTK-DB Let's Talk Radio. How are you doing today? It's the first show of the new year. Wow. Just let that sit in for a second. It's 2023. And so I know I had a busy last part of 2022. So I'm taking just a moment to relax and regroup. And so some people might be just fresh out of the gate, ready to go, like amped up for the new energy. And whatever it is, that's what the individual needs. And that's kind of the topic of the day that I want to talk into. It's kind of about balance and being torn this way versus that way, and energetically where we find ourselves or where our goals are. So I want to dive into that in a bit. And I just want to welcome everybody coming on in. And this is a reading show, so starting off the new year a little bit different, but hey, I like it. So we're going to keep the traditional like Wednesday's interview and Friday's reading show, but for today we're doing the reading show. We're doing something different. And then we'll have Debbie Romero on Friday, and that's going to be like a guest, a little bit of an interview, but more so a reading show. So you'll have double chances to have your numbers read or a question read through cards or through just the feeling of energy. So that's the way that I work. It's pulling numbers for you or pulling a card and just diving into what I'm feeling and describing. And it's really interactive. It really is. And it's always fun. I always have a good time doing it. So welcome if you've never been to the show before. Hello and happy 2023 if you have. So the way that I do that for the show is you just pop down your numbers or you say, hey, I would like a reading. And then we go into it in a couple minutes from now. So we always talk a little bit and then we go into the reading. And so I like to let people know because towards the end of the show, it always picks up. It always does. And in the beginning, we start revving up our engines and people start coming in and saying hi. But at the end, I can never get to everybody because everyone's coming in. So yes, thank you. So hello, Jennifer, and just pop down. I'd like a reading, please. And then let me know, because I need your consent. And then let me know whether you want me to pull your numbers. You have to give me a birth date for that or to do some card pulls. Okay, so before we get started, I want to talk about the energy of indecision or when we're planning our goals and we're just like, yeah, I want to do it, but maybe there's an obstacle, or do I really want to do what I'm focusing my mind and my heart on? And I think that's really important because we all deal with indecision, from a spiritual sense. Does my soul want this? Is this good for me, right? Do I really believe I can have this? Wow, this is going to take a lot of work. Is it really going to be obtainable? And sometimes we psych ourselves out, whether it's not attainable because this year it might not happen and it might happen in a couple years. We're like, am I not at that level? Or I'm not sure this is even possible for me. This is not my life. This is someone else's life that I'm dreaming up. And we get to choose. I'm the firm believer we are the co-creators of our life. Hello, Jessie Cat. Hello, Chaley. Hello, everyone coming in. And thank you for your Happy New Year's. Excellent. Thank you so much. And we are the co-creators of our life. I'm starting off from there, fresh from the top again. And I do believe that life is a mirror and energy is a mirror to where we're at. And there's just lessons always. So whether we have success in something, whether we don't know what we're doing sometimes, or whether we feel really confident, life is going to meet us back with some kind of indication of where we are. It's like, are you really here? Right? Because let's say you're doing great and let's say there's not much of a response, or you're not making money, or a person who's a senior to you isn't really impressed. Are you really going to doubt who you are as a person just from externalized results? Sure, yeah, like we can doubt ourselves from that, or sure, yeah, like maybe we take that as feedback, and we should, because life is a mirror. Um, we go, okay, let me recalibrate, let me try different things. But the key thing is don't give up. And the key thing is don't like not believe in yourself, right? So that's a double negative. So please believe in yourself. But like believe in yourself. And I've seen people time and time again, they are doing exactly what they need to do. They're just in the wrong environment, or maybe they're with the wrong group of people, or the timing's a little off, or the delivery is off. But like the essence, the core of who they are, that's so right on. And that can't be trifled with, like the indomitable spirit, when you feel it, when you have that confidence inside you and you're like, I want to do this, or just the soul responding to who you are and living your life and saying, yeah, I prefer doing this. And so yeah, you have to stay strong. You have to stay strong, and you have to keep learning. And maybe you're amazing at knowing one piece of the journey, but there's other pieces where you do have to learn and go, oh, I needed this to make me more sturdy in my journey. And yeah, it's strange that maybe it works for another person. It doesn't work for me that way. And a part of it is strange because we're like, wow, why didn't that work? It seems like it would. But another part of it is not strange because that's the journey. So it's like life is not meant to be straightforward. I'm sure you've seen like lots of Facebook posts and memes, and it's like whether it's like a spiritual reference to God or the universe, or whether it's just a goal, instead of it being linear, it's like this like squiggly thing, and it's like up, down, left, right, like triangle, diagonal, spiral, abstract. And that's what it is, because you have to go from different angles and go, oh, I guess it's this, oh, I guess it's that, oh, I guess it's this, like, and just welcome the surprise, even though some of the surprises aren't great. So let's get into like the indecision part, because it's cool if we know what we want. And yeah, when we know what we want, it's still going to be a question mark with how the universe mirrors the energy we bring. And we learn so much, right? But what if we don't know what we want? What if we go, yeah, I want that, but I'm not sure. And I'm not sure now. Or do I even really want that? Is that really going to make me happy? Right? And so I always am a fan of bringing awareness. If you are indecisive over something, claim it. Say, I'm indecisive over this, rather than going, I don't know what I want. And if we don't know what we want, we have the tendency to push things away. And actually, we're pushing it away from our energy. So we are reinstating the indecision, and we're reinstating the energy pattern of, yeah, this isn't really close to me. I'm not quite sure. It's kind of like orbiting this idea, this feeling. Not sure about it. And we push it away. That's exactly what we do. And it doesn't get tended to properly, and it lingers. And so I highly recommend embrace the indecision, because that's the energy, you know? A lot of times we like run with the energy when we know that we want it, and we're like, yeah, right? Okay, this is it. But we don't embrace or run with energy if it's indecision, or if we feel bad about something. And all emotions have to be accounted for. So within reading energy, so like I do psychic readings, and I, have been doing them for over 10 years. And so I'm comfortable with feeling energy. And so I know anytime I feel something good, bad, or like kind of confused on this, I have to talk about it because that's someone's emotional state. And when you put emphasis on someone's emotional state and awareness, you have a chance to open up that energy state and change it and go, I guess I've been feeling that way. Or, wow, I never put those pieces together. That's why I've been kind of stuck, right? And everything has to be accounted for. So, with that indecision place, what you do is it's okay to feel that way. And it's okay to give it time because when we want something or if we know something, if you are wanting to do it, you can go out and start the process now. That I don't know just highlights that there's other things that kind of have to come into play. And sometimes it's that knowing, and sometimes it's actually not the knowing. Sometimes it's a friend or a circumstance is going to come up and confirm it for you. Now, we're co-creators, so we have to, lean into what we can do and not wait on things always. This is very true, but sometimes waiting and patience does breed the answer. There are cases where it's like it wasn't a case of us doing it alone. So you just got to trust if there's that indecision to know, okay, the energy's not ready to go yet. And why? Is it a me thing? Am I waiting on something? Um, and sometimes we have to sort our actual emotions to, and let me just say hi to people. Hi, Karen. Hello. We have to sort our actual emotions to process why we want what we want or why we know what we know. And we don't have to have like all the answers. We don't. We need to have some of the pieces where we go, okay, I feel better about this. Okay. Okay, a piece of the mystery has been solved. You don't have to have the whole mystery solved. If you're, if you like to do it, great, have fun. I think it's cool to solve mysteries. I think it's cool to know oneself. In fact, things go a lot better in one's life when they know themselves. But we don't have to have it all figured out. We just need that next step. And some of the steps start or linger with the I don't knows. And that means we need to know something more, a little bit about ourselves. Or we just have to be patient as it comes to the surface. As long as you go, I'm still not sure. That's okay. Okay, I want more pieces to come to me. So like affirm. And that's my biggest piece of advice and takeaway as you're building, you're growing, you're goal setting. If you get an I don't know, go, okay, I'm not quite sure about this, like spirit, universe, God, or higher self. I'm going to allow the pieces to come to me, and I'm going to get curious. Why don't I know? And let those feelings and thoughts come to me. And what happens is you guide and you accept the process of those answers finding you. You go, great. All right, it's gonna come. And the more curious you are, and the more you talk with yourself, and the more your intention for the pieces to come find you, I do feel like on average the process does go faster because you are more aware and interactive with your energy and how it meets the universe around you. Absolutely. But I do feel like for those soul questions, if you are interactive with yourself and connected to yourself, you will know that some things might take a little longer, and because there's other factors involved. It's not just a you thing. So really just tune into yourself. Is this something I can manifest easy? Is this something that involves other people to manifest? Is this a 100% for sure, or is this something I'm still learning about? I'm not sure, or is this an I don't know? And for every one of those things, you need to talk and have a relationship with the energy, and that energy will grow, and the energy will speak back just like spirit speaks back of this isn't a good idea, or this is actually fantastic, like you keep thinking about it, obviously you want it, or okay, yes, a piece of you wants it, but maybe a piece of you is nervous, or a piece of you knows that maybe a better fit maybe is out there. So, what does that better fit look like? Or what do we need for you to feel like, yeah, I want to do this? whether it's job, whether it's dating, whether it's, finding the right trainer and exercising, whether it's going to therapy, whether it's, starting a creative project, a business. So I hope that gives some food for thought and some encouragement where it doesn't have to happen in a flash, but if you are ready, it can. And so just nurture the process. Okay. So we're going to get into some card readings. I always take a drink of my water if I haven't already drank it before, or tea. It helps me open up the energy. And so let's see here. So we already got some people ready for some readings. That's great. And so hello, Barbara. Hello, Sherry. Awesome. Okay, I'm seeing everybody. Awesome. Yeah. All right. We're good to go. So I'm going to start. And it's so funny, like in my head before I start, I'm thinking about my microphone. I'm getting a new microphone. Or I'm seeing if I can fix the one I have for 2 seconds. So if you hear me and I'm a little bit softer, that's the reason why I don't have my microphone with me. I'm looking to get a new one. Okay. Sometimes we need a little bit more water. Okay, so Jennifer is first, and then we have Shaylee. And just let me know if I'm saying your name right, Shaylee. And then we have a Jessie Cat 2 and into Casey, and we'll go down from there, and that's the order. And I just like to let people know, because if you want, if you're on, because people come in, come out, or they come back, you can talk and interact. And I like to give people a heads up in case they want to interact and talk while the reading's going on, or they can give feedback. So, okay. So Jennifer wants a card pull. Let me see if there's any more information. Okay. All right. Away we go. Getting into that energy. Okay. All right. So the first one off the bat is the mediumship card. And when I see this, I always smile. So the mediumship card is the acknowledgement to open up your skills and your gifts. It's the acknowledgement that it's safe and you're being guided. So on the card that I pulled, I have some of like the forefathers of mediumship. Okay, so I have my own cards. Here you go. Some of them are simple, some of them are more colorful and complex. So I read in a different variety styles of ways. And so when I see these names, they're like really strong, and they're very loving, and they're very responsible and talented figures, like historical figures of mediumship. So it always lets me know that the process is being assisted, the process is being guided, and that you're meant to open up your heart and mind to this work, and know that there's goodness around it. Okay, because sometimes when we're starting, I know when I was starting that I had apprehension. I was like, do I really want to do this? Is this really a good fit? How do I feel about this? And so I want to acknowledge the encouragement in that department. Okay. Yeah. That's what comes up. And then also the Growing Forest card. So the Growing Forest card is all about not only like new beginnings and a new cycle, but it's about a healing that happens when we're ready for that new cycle. The acknowledgement of, okay, I'm in a place where I'm able to think differently and be differently. And there's tremendous healing that has come from that in order for me to be here. So I feel like I'm in a different phase. So it's great because there's like this spontaneous growth that happens when we're in these phases, when we feel like, okay, I can do this now, or okay, I feel like I have this clarity, or this a little bit more space I can give to myself. So there's that rapid growth that happens. So what's coming to the surface is that there's really a new time within your life, and you're starting to get excited, and you're starting to actually like outreach into, okay, now I can sample this, and now I can do this. And I really do think there's a tremendous amount of support within this with the people that you will find. So sometimes we have questions about support. And so the number one thing is, I see this sun, and I see like all these like little surprises like around the rays of the sun. And it's about like, when I reach out, I find this, and I didn't expect this, and there's a support, and there's a love, and there's an encouragement. Okay, so that's really what's coming up for most, is there's a new phase, the acknowledgement for developing your mediumship, and that there will actually be a lot of support system within that. You'll find others doing the same, and it's simple what's coming up, but that's what's coming up, and so I acknowledge that. Let's see, I'm just touching base. Okay. Oh, you want specifically, you want something about owning a restaurant in the future. Okay. I do feel like your mediumship and your intuition is something that is opening up. I'm going to see, actually, I'm looking for a deck that normally is here. I just came back, and usually a deck is right beside me, and it's not in its normal place. It's okay. I'm going to pull from this deck. Interesting. Okay. So what I'm getting for you, Jennifer, is I really get strongly the growing forest card, and within developing the ability to put yourself in a place for entrepreneurship with the restaurant, I feel like there has to be, again, like this phase where I'm growing, I'm pushing myself, I'm expanding, and I feel like you're in the opening phase of that. So we talked about the growing forest card, and we're in a different space, and we're able to have this calm, right, about our ambitions and our goals and our development. So I feel like there's the sprouts happening. I do feel like right now there's like this huge, I can do it, and I want to look into that energy. And so it's a matter of, like, I really feel like when I talk about it, I want to get a folder, and I just want to slam it on my desk or my kitchen table, and it has all like the bill information. It has, what will this look like per rent per year? What will this look like for, the annual income, cost, expense, profit? And so that's the number one thing that happens for me. Like, it's like a book is slamming down. It's like, let's get down to business. And it's like that has to come into effect with the energy. So I'm seeing like I need to completely shift my perspective and completely like line up everything to go, all systems go. And I feel like I'm in a place where it's like I have to connect the dots. I have to connect the dots. I have to connect the dots. And I have to get ready for this piece of the restaurant. And I have to get ready for that piece of the restaurant. And I have to look into this piece of the restaurant. And I keep talking about pieces and restaurant because it's like the pieces I don't feel are coming together because it's in the beginning phases. And so there are two energies to play into. There's the free will energy and what we co-create, and then there's the energy of what is coming to us. And so what is coming to us, I feel like with your energy, is like this tremendous space to build, grow, discover, learn. And so I feel like it's a great time to start digging in and creating the foundational pieces for this project. And I feel like a lot of the answers to that are going to sprout, and a lot of things are going to like, I feel like if they're going to get inspiration with the restaurant, and it's not going to be just the restaurant. There's going to be more inspiration. It's not going to just be like, okay, I'm growing the restaurant. I feel like there's going to be a lot of more ahas with the project. Okay. So just dive in, get everything together, and it's going to lead you where you need to go. Okay. So, um, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, those steps of what are 3 things I can do to start this journey. That's where the energy is. And that's where I encourage you to be. And then we can start building 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and like 10 is like, okay, we're in swing to start seeing what this reality is with the restaurant. Okay, so we're on 1, 2, 3, and I just encourage you to play, bring intuition into it, have fun, and I love that you are creating and planting seeds for your future. That's where the energy is at. So I'm going to give love to you, and I'm glad you understand that. And love, love. So we have, let's see, Shaylee. Okay, Shaylee is next. And hello, I'm good. I guess I'm thinking about what's to do with my week. It's like, do you rest or do you dive into work back again? So that's where I'm at. That's how I am, Shaylee. But work is fun. So, all right, you gave me your numbers. And let's start pulling the numbers and see what we get. Okay. So you want a general reading. Okay. We've got an attitude 1, personal day 7, and let's see our life path. So your life path's a 5. We'll double check with that. 7, 1. Okay. Yep, that's right. Okay, beautiful. And okay, cool. So what I'm getting for you, got it. Cool. So Shaylee, I pull up instantly, so you're an attitude 1. And so an attitude 1, they're individuals. It's always fun to talk about because you know what you want and you go out and get it, and a lot of your energy is very quick. It's very active energy. You don't like sitting still for too long. Okay. It's a lot of mental frequencies going on. So it lets me know that, like, throughout your life, and this is something I always encourage, is that you need different types of jobs. Okay. It lets me know that, you know, how people like kind of build up, whether it's a corporate ladder or they go, okay, I'm going to go into this position and then I'll grow into this position and then I'll ladder up, right? Well, with you, like, it's so important to have variety. It's so important to sample different jobs. It's so important to travel and explore. And so when you have a life path 5 like you do, it's all about connecting the very different experiences that you have together to make you feel fulfilled rather than going up in this linear sense, and like building upon a skill and building upon a skill and having them be all similar. So in order for you to do that, you need multiple jobs, um, very different multiple jobs, very different skills. So yes, certain things can get you in the door because there's a similarity. And so, yeah, like, sure, if you can like make more money and you can find yourself in certain places because of that paper trail and skill trail, sure, do it. But you, from job to job, you have to be doing things quite different in order not to be bored. Okay. And there has to be movement. So these are the individuals, when you see a life path 5, that actually move around more than the average person within that, to feel like, great, I wake up in the morning and I don't feel like agitated, right, when I go to work. So there's a highlight within that. You're in a cycle of 8 too as well. And when I see a cycle of 8, it's just always an indication to pay a little bit more attention with your health. 8 is a very physical number. And it's a sign of keeping track of the clues and the messages that are coming up in your body to say, hey, pay attention to this. If my knee hurts, if, you know, if I've been feeling like my vitality is not the same way as years before. Like, let's just go in and get things checked, or like, let's put more like money and time into health and strengthening my body. So it's very, very important to pay attention to the body, because the body is so physical, and it's a number of physical things. It also highlights the tendency to make money. So this year you actually will have, um, and I'm going to highlight it. 8 is the number of truth and consequence and power. So it's like power. You think like, ooh, like let's open up the floodgates, right? Let's just like manifest abundance. But so that can happen. The 8 energy can draw money and can draw opportunity to you much quicker, but it also draws the consequence and the truth to you of, hey, like, are you ready for this? Hey, is this good for you? And what happens is, if something's not ready, or if something's not thought through, or something's just like strung together, right? But you don't really have things together, what happens is it blows up, or it kind of gets canceled, or, there's all these things that happen. You're like, why on earth would this happen? It's just like, actually, well, if you just slow down and think about it, that could have happened, but you kind of just decided to take a chance. So it's not a good year to take a risk. That's what I'm saying. It's a good year to look at yourself and just get in truth with, does this really work for me? Does this not work for me? How can I clean up some of the areas that I haven't looked at in a while? And how can I really just pay attention and honor my body to what it needs to support me? Because I'm if I'm sluggish and slow, um, my power isn't there to further things with the same fervor. Okay, so that's what's coming up, and I'm kind of like highlighting those concepts. I'm also seeing in January. January is like kind of like a trickier month for you, so just heads up within that. But I like February a lot for you. February is really good for your energy. January is like it's like a 9 vibration, and I'd have to look at the rest of your chart, but with some of the numbers that I'm seeing, that 9 is going to highlight some like kind of like family and like past issues kind of like surfacing to be rectified. So a little bit more of a difficult month. But we go into February, and then we have that gorgeous 1 energy that pairs well with your chart. So heads up, February is a good month for you. And just the encouragement of like within what it takes to make money, be successful, and having the right job for you to do that. And also taking care of your health and your body, and really paying attention to that to help you springboard even further. So that's what comes up within your energy, Shaylee. And let me know if that makes sense, because people are popping in and out. Okay, so Casey is next, and she's giving me numbers. I can do a little bit, Casey. I can do a little bit. So I'll take your mom's numbers, and then I will I will connect them to your numbers. The reason I don't dive into 2 together so completely is because it can get really long. That's why. So I'm going to concentrate on your mom, and then we'll go into a connection with you, if that makes sense. Okay. So what we got here. Mom's Year of the Dragon. That's always fun. She's a wood dragon, excuse me. She's a wood dragon. Okay. So numerology is so fun. There's always number clusters all around when we're doing these readings. So mom's numbers for you, Casey, are an attitude 1 as well. And then let me get your life path for your mom. Okay. And then she's a 3. Let me just double check. 1, 2. Yep, that's right. Okay. Okay, cool. So with mom, so this is a woman who very much knows what she wants. Okay, so sometimes, like, yes, we talk about the stubborn energy with the one that comes up, but this is someone who's very like certain of what their preferences are, and they do need alone time more than the average person to make sure they get things done in the way that they want to, and that they can be free to as well. So this is very important when highlighting what a personality is and what's important to them. And one is all about going your own way, being unique, doing your own thing. So yeah, you do need space to be yourself. If you're too social, too much in the crowd, it's almost like your personality will kind of like go like, hey, I need to like deject from this experience. Okay. But your mom is also a life path 3 and she has a personal day 6. So it lets me know that your mom is a social person, but yes, there are times where she really needs that alone time. And with the attitude 1, she has the ability to be a leader. It's just a matter of how much she wants to be, and how much she should prefers to not only tell people like what she wants and needs, but also be responsible for individuals additionally. So that's always like a question mark of how much responsibility do you want within your life. But it lets me know that within her life that she is on track when she is sharing her voice with others. She is on track whether she's presenting or being creative or being in a place where like she's not isolated. So socializing and getting out and about is incredibly important for her well-being and for her to feel like she's helping and being a part of other people's lives. Very, very important. She's in a cycle 9. More of this 9 energy is surfacing as we talk about it, and the cycle 9 is all about letting things go. So this is going to be a very different year for your mom because it's all about shedding. It's all about making room for a new type of energy, a new way of being. And so yes, with 9s, when you're in a cycle 9, there is a theme, whether it's like with family or friends, of there's like the death, the transformation. So sometimes that's actually letting people go within your own life and like having people pass around you, because what happens is, like I said, the rules aren't the same. So what happens is sometimes people have to exit your life, whether you want them to or don't want them to, in order for your energy to change and transform. So 9 also pushes us to think in ways and do things that we have not been ready to do. So if you hear your mom talking a different way or doing some different things, or you're just like, wow, my mom would never do this, I'm surprised to see her doing this. It's the courtesy of the 9 energy coming in to her life and making way for the new. So heads up with that. And it's always good to check on people during a cycle 9 because they will be dealing with like stress. They will be dealing with like feeling like it's a busier year. They will be able to navigate it. Don't get me wrong. In fact, they will navigate it quite well, but um, reach out and give additional support, and they'll feel very like loved and protected during this time because it's just a difficult year. It really is. So I'm putting that out, and then how we connect it to your energy. Let's see. I know I've done your numbers before, but I always got to redo everything. Okay, cool. Okay. hmm Okay, so awesome. All right, so we got 9. You got 2 9s. So anytime I see 2 9s in someone's chart, I wonder if I've talked to you about this before. So I'm kind of like sticking to foundations, but I'm opening up concepts too for more to come in and energy to come in. But anytime I see like a double 9, it lets me know that somebody had like a more of a difficult like childhood growing up, where like they had to be the responsible and then they had to be the adult. So it lets me know that um you have, it's almost like you and your mom have to be around people in order to be happiest, but your mom really much sometimes will need to exactly like take a break and go her own way and do her own thing, and you're very much like of a perpetual giver. You're just, life is about other people for you. So it just like lets me know that great, you can be connected to your mom this year to help encourage her at times, but I would definitely only do so if there is communication involved, like a sharing involved. If it becomes too much, like mom is the one dominating the conversation, I would very beautifully actually end the conversation or try to steer it. And then if that's not working, say, hey, I gotta go, I'll catch up with you, because it's going to lay down the foundation for her, and this is actually will be accepted much more in a cycle 9 for her to go, oh, I think I understood what happened here, or oh, um I'm talking about myself too much. Okay, so there's these aha moments that can be sprinkled, and you can help facilitate that, like with encouragement, but also with like wisdom, and help guide your mom with some of these conversations of how an elevated way to do it between the two of you, like a more loving and compassionate way. So that comes up. And yeah, it's just you have so many nines that you are really like, you find yourself in these selfless places, and to encourage some people at some times when you know that there's a lesson that you can help facilitate. It's not your responsibility, but you can like drop these nuggets of like clues where you're like, actually, maybe you haven't considered this, but this is important for you to know and do. Not everyone's going to like this, or not everyone might tell you this, but here's a little clue. So that's what's coming into like play with your mom's energy and you. And so you're quite different from your mom, but both of you actually need to be around people, um, helping people with people, and in order to be actually the truly most fulfilled within your life. So that theme is coming into play, and so hopefully that makes sense and gives you some ahas within that. Okay, let's see. All right, cool. Let's see. So, next person, is it Jessie Cat? Let's see. Yes. Okay. She doesn't know. Jessie Cat doesn't know if retrograde is messing her up. Me thinking interesting. So it's like retrograde. I always like to highlight this with retrogrades. Like they bring out like hidden aspects of who we are, or sometimes they highlight personality traits where we normally wouldn't be that way, but it gives us more perspective on how we truly are. It's like the yin and the yang. Give perspective on what just is, right? And when we have the opposite of what is, we understand more completely what that is. Because we go, oh, this is the anti-form, and this is like what it what creates the anti-form and the opposite. I'm even getting into, I'm like, how do I explain that? Anyway, but when you have the opposite of something, when you have the anti of something, actually fully defines what is. And so when you have the anti and what is together, like that's the complementary nature, and that's actually the identity of the energy itself. So that sounds a little complicated, but within retrogrades, it helps us to understand ourselves more fully, and it brings out hidden aspects of who we are that we haven't always given time and attention to. So when people are go, is retrograde messing me up? Yeah, but look into like why. It's not a matter of like, oh, I'm just gonna be flailing. Okay, it's not a matter of like it's just gonna be a hard month. Actually, some retrogrades can be quite beautiful for people and quite dynamic and abundant for people because they're leaning into other aspects. So yeah, it might be tricky, but I would say embrace the retrograde and see what it comes and brings out within you. So that's what comes up right when I am talking about retrogrades apparently. And so she would like a general reading. Okay, cool. Okay, let's see what comes up. Okay. So what comes up is the encouragement. There's always encouragement every time I pull cards for you to just trust and expand on your goals and your gifts, and to just not rush it, to know that everything is in place. Don't rush it, just make time for it. Don't put constraints on it, just make space. Okay. And so whether it's as fast as you want or as much frequency as you want, um, slow and steady wins the race. Okay. And so it's like every week, or at least like a couple times a month, if even possible, bring up the energy that you want to be in, whether it's sitting in the power, whether it's doing a practice reading, whether it's doing a professional reading. Just continue to carve out that space, because the most important card that's coming up is that physical energy card, and making sure that you have like the routine, and making sure that you have a momentum that's building upon itself, where it's not like scattered, where you have to go, okay, I have to fit it in somewhere this week. Like, to create a series of days and times, so it doesn't have to just be one, but a series of days and times where you go, I prefer to work on these days, or I prefer to um, work with spirit on these days. And some of those times and days are going to be non-negotiable with family, but you give family a heads up. Hey, I need a couple of days. Does this work? Does this work? And it's a relationship and it's an agreement, but it's protected, where you don't feel like you have to be juggling because it's been already pre-approved. So that physical foundation of, wow, I'm protected, and now I can dive into just focusing on this, whether it's you find yourself kind of in meditation, you're like, I needed this time to decompress, I needed this time to just and now I can kind of focus a little bit more. Or if you are like, great, now I don't have any obstructions and I can just do some readings. So it's like, how do we want to line up our energy? And so we can do that with family, absolutely, but you have to make that space. And I think that's actually one of the biggest things of not feeling guilty, or to know that you have complete and protected space at certain times, so you can be yourself, and you're going to love that, and the universe is going to support you in that. So it's going to continue to make that space bigger for how you can work, when you can work, and how your family actually starts to, you have to train the people around you, you have to train your own energy, but you have to train the people around you of how they can support you, right? And they go, okay, like Jessie Cat needs like this. We've already talked about it. And wow, this makes Jessie Cat happier, or this is really good for Jessie Cat's energy. So let's work with that. You need a little bit more time. Great, great. Let's that the space grows. And then when the space grows, the frequency grows, for how you feel like, great, I'm able to do this. I'm able to do this. And so I'm saying that from like a more physical energy standpoint, rather than spiritual can I do it standpoint. It's like the physical manifestation of, wow, like this works with family, this gels with family. I don't have to be juggling. Like, okay, I have this carved out. This is a part of my life. So train your family, train your energy, but most importantly, carve out those times, and it will become normalcy for you. In the beginning stages, and a couple times, like, don't worry about it. Like, you will have to, yes, move things around sometimes, but then your energy will go, I like this, I prefer this, my family can do that, and it just again becomes normal. It just becomes the new foundation. So that lets me know of you're being guided. It ties into your growing, you're setting your roots, and there's like tremendous growth happening but that physical energy needs to be balanced, and that physical energy is tied to how family can support and you support yourself, and you have to lead that. Okay. All right. Let's see. Going down to the bottom. Oh, and all of a sudden I can't. Jesse Cat said something, but I can't read it. All of a sudden the comments are stacked on itself. I'll have to go back and read it. I'm sorry about that. I can't. There's like a comment and I can't read it. Interesting. Cool. Awesome. And then we have time for a quick one before we go. It's funny how that happens. And then some more people are coming in, like Kathleen, hello, and Tia, hello, Lily, Barbara, Sylvia, hello, everybody. And we're almost towards the end again. So it's like everyone floods in at the end. So if you come in during the beginning, just pop down your numbers and ask for the reading. That's the best way I can say to do it. I'm going to end with Sherry. Okay, let's see. And she gave me, okay, good afternoon. If you have chance, insight reading regarding my new job, returning to the security field. And then she gave me her numbers. Okay, cool. Awesome. Let's do it. So she's 1, 12. Oh, she's 0, 1. Okay, I'm working with how this is written. Okay, got it. So she's 121. That's right. Okay, cool. 121. That's right. Okay. All right. So let's do these numbers. Cool. She's in attitude 4, and she's in personal day 3. And then we got, just making sure. Yep. 6. I think she's a life path 1. Let's double check everything on that. And so, yes, 4. Yep, that's right. Yep, okay. All right. So let's look into it. I'm just pulling up some of the information for you. Okay. All right. So you're wondering regarding your new job, returning to the security field. So, okay. You're an individual that likes stability, organization, consistency. That definitely comes up with the attitude 4. Attitude 4 people are organizers. Sometimes they can get overwhelmed with organization. So it's like, just take a breath and come back to it, and then you can return to your balance. But this comes into play with like, hey, where's my consistency coming in? Where's my consistency coming in? And honestly, what comes into play is you actually don't have to do things the same time again. Okay. And the reason why I say that is because you're a life path 1, and 1 is about like innovation, it's about expansion, and it's about once you've accumulated knowledge, or if you've accumulated experience in a certain job or skill, you go, hey, I know a better way it can be done. I want to share that with people around me. I want to share that, and I want to encourage like a better environment. So it's like, unless you have somebody who's a really good leader within the security field and job that you want to be a part of, I would say steer clear. And unless there is like this progression within people, or it's like a really good solid company, I would say stay away. You can return to the security field, but I would like to see you in a more progressive company. And I feel like there's ways to do that. If you haven't looked into multiple options for yourself, I would say continue to do that. If you have and you haven't done your research, like I would actually lean into the field that doesn't exactly this is going to sound weird. It doesn't exactly pay you the most, but you feel the best in it. Now, when we feel the best in it, we thrive, and actually we then have an opportunity to make more money than we would normally have. Okay. But there's a different entry point into that. Some people go, I'm going to pick the job that has the most money and I'll feel most supported by, and that's what I need. And it's just like, don't do that. You're going to be miserable. Like, go into the company and the position where you actually are feeling good. Okay. That doesn't mean to lowball yourself at any time. Never. No, it's just, don't pick the job with the highest salary if you're making sacrifices in a certain department where you're like, I don't love it, but it would be a good fit. Right. So I really encourage you to research and look into other avenues, or this is validation if you have found something, but you're not quite sure of if you should take it because you're looking for a different match with the money. It can't be under what you're looking for. It has to be within ballpark, but don't go for the money. Okay. You'll get comfortable within the place you're at. You'll have a supportive environment. You'll like your coworkers, and people will see potential within you, and you can actually grow that and make more money. So I like that. I actually don't see, like, when I talk about the security field, I just don't feel like there's a long running stint there. So whether it's temporary to just, like, again, have more foundation with, like, security with what you're building within your own life and your family's life, okay, but I don't see it as a long running stint. So again, um the number one thing is just like, how can we maintain happiness within the home? How can we maintain happiness and energy where I feel like I'm living a good life? And part of a good life is having enough money to do that, but a huge part of life is so much more. So it's just like, I'm giving that to you. Like, you want more flow within the family, not more stress. So I'd be very careful with returning to the security field. You have to actually find a job that really supports you. And if it's not a cookie cutter one that you've normally done, then do that. Okay. So, but I see it changing, like, within 3 years. I see it changing all over again. And, like, the way of life is actually being quite different, and the security job field doesn't quite come with you. Okay. So that's what's coming into play when I look at your numbers. Let me see. Let me go into numerology. Cycle two, cycle two, cycle two. So you're in a cycle 2 this year. And that's always interesting because when we're in a cycle 2, there is a theme where we find ourselves being triggered more. Okay, just heads up. I'll give you the bad news, the bad news first. Okay, so we find ourselves much more emotional. We find ourselves much more it's like we feel more. Okay, we just feel more, and so things are more intense on that spectrum. So it's a really important time to do a lot of soul searching, and learn about why we are the way we are. It's a time to have additional support, whether it's like I was talking about, like therapy or healing, or just friends, more support with friends where you can talk about things, or family where you have good support systems, because it's going to be a year of you finding some answers, of understanding why you do based upon the choices that you make. And you're doing that by strengthening your gut. You're strengthening your intuition. So there's going to be, again, like these ups and downs with kind of like being triggered with how you feel on things. But that's great, because then it lets you have a moment of, wow, this really bothered me. So I guess I'm going to have to deal with it. Because if something doesn't bother us, we just go on and we kind of just survive, and we go like, yeah, that was horrible, but I'll deal with that later. I got to keep doing life, right? But this year, we're going to have a series of explosions where you have to look at that stuff in order to do life. Okay, so heads up on that. This year, this month, and this year, you're in an energy of, let me see, where are you this year? Okay, cool. Yeah, you're in the energy of the 3. And so That's great for interviews. That's great for putting yourself out there and getting your feelers and getting answers. So like 3, 4, and 5. So January, February, and March are really good months for landing actually a job quite quickly. And February and March really highlights that. So all systems go. You're gonna find something quite quickly. It's just like you call the shots and just be careful, because you actually can manifest more jobs than maybe you'd expect, or maybe you know that about yourself. But really come into February or the tail end of January, you can find things quite abundantly. You have options, so pick and choose wisely and feel, because that's the thing for you. Feel into why you are choosing this, and so you're going to manifest that which you choose based on what you feel and what it represents. So choose wisely. All right, so let's see. You're scrolling down to the bottom. Yes, Mercury's in retrograde. How fun is that? And then let's see. And then I can't read the comments coming in. I don't know why that is. Isn't that interesting? So I have to go back and see if I can read them later, because I'm trying to. Here, I'll give you an indication of. See, nothing comes up when I'm trying to read it. And I can't click on another one that I want to even bring up. Interesting. So I'm going to trust that that makes sense to you. And I'm going to say thank you for everybody who has come in today. And a lot of opportunities to be read still on Friday at 1 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Central. If you want to come in and get read later this week with Debbie and I, please come in and do it. We'd be more than happy. And it's going to be super fun. We're going to be playing off each other's energy. So within that, always something more to do, something more to find within life. And I encourage that sentiment. I'm going to give you a lot of love and luck and light, and I am going to see you very soon. Please, everybody, have a fantastic first week of your 2023. And with that, I'm going to say it again. Go with love, luck, light, and don't forget to live, everybody. See you on Friday. Take care.
The truth is here and now on WLTK-DB Talk Radio at WLTK-DB.com.